Who am I here with today? What is your name and what sport do you play?
My name is Pierce Winters, and I'm a rower for St. Ignatius College Preparatory in San Francisco.
Very nice, Pierce. And what exactly got you into rowing in the first place?
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a typical high school sport to say. I tried out for a bunch of different things. I got cut from the crew team or the golf team my freshman year in the spring, and there was nothing else available. And so my tubby self waddled over to my friends, and I asked, what can I still do? And someone told me crew was still open and I joined up and it just went from there.
Wow. And did you ever think that you would be doing it before you entered high school? Or was it just like an on the whim decision that
Oh, it
you
was totally on the fly. I didn't even know the sport existed, if I'm going to be honest. And I guarantee you most people don't even know it exists. But, I'm really glad it popped into my life. I was totally blessed, in disguise by getting cut and turning something out of nothing.
And how many years have you been doing it for?
I've been doing it since the spring of my freshman year, so a little over 3 years, I guess.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
sounds right.
What's the training schedule like? How busy is it?
I mean, it's pretty busy, but it's nothing atypical out of, another varsity high school sport. So, tr crew gets this rep that you train super early in the morning. For some club teams, yes, but we have to follow the training schedule of any other athletics team for SI. So we'll train Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. And then Saturday we'll do like 8 to 11, and then we'll also lift 2 mornings a week. So it's nothing crazy, but some people put in some work on their own time in those mornings that they don't have lifts, and that'll definitely make your training schedule more intense.
And just based off this training schedule, like, would you say that crew has made you more disciplined overall?
Oh, I definitely say crew has made me more disciplined. It's definitely been, great for my time management skills. Having something so structured and so, laboring really has forced me to be diligent in all other aspects of my life. So it's definitely helped me out with that.
Does it ever interfere with your main schedule? Like, have you ever had to sacrifice any social things for it? Or would you
I've
say,
definitely had this.
okay,
Yeah, I've definitely had to sacrifice a lot of social things. The good news is all my best friends are on the crew team. So
oh,
it's kind of like practice is kind of a built-in hangout. I mean, all the guys are really tight and there's always little pockets of time within your practice that you'll just get to shoot the shit.
for
But
sure.
definitely outside hangouts and, some outside events, like some parties, I'm like, listen, I got practice at 8 in the morning tomorrow. I can't go out on a Friday night, but you definitely find ways.
That's fair. That's fair. And when did you say you started taking competitive? Like, did you take it competitive right off the bat, or was it like a progression
Hmm.
to it?
Yeah, so I definitely initially did not take it competitive. I kind of just joined because, like I said, it was really the last thing available, and I was on land by myself. I wasn't able to get into a boat for about 2 months. I was joined late, so I was kind of neglected, and they were like, "Listen, like if you get the chance, we'll put you in. If you don't, like I guess you're here." So it definitely wasn't competitive for me at the first part. I'd say it started getting competitive once I started moving up the boats. My freshman year, moving from the freshman B boat to the freshman A boat is probably when I started taking it most competitive. Kind of in the fact that, you know, my focus inside and outside of practice was bettering myself as much as I could.
Oh wow, that's very cool. And would you say in the off season? Well, how does the crew off season work exactly? Like, is there a specific time that crew happens?
So crew is mostly all year. So in the fall, we'll do 6K races. So it's a bit longer. The winter period, we'll continue training just because we want to keep our momentum and fitness up for our spring season, which is 2,000 meters. So your only off season is during the summer. And typically you'll do a lot of intense training on your own, Um, for example, in the month of June, I did over 350,000 meters on the rowing machine in
Oh
my basement.
wow.
So I put in a fair amount of my own time. Um, but it's really dependent on who you are as the individual athlete and what you want to do. For the average person this summer will be their off season. So it kind of just lines up with school.
I see. And how do you stay motivated during that time? Because I would assume you're a lot more alone than when you're on a team. So
Hmm.
is it tougher to keep that discipline during that time?
Yeah, I mean, having that discipline is definitely something that I've, learned like you said, with time. My freshman and sophomore year, I really didn't do much during the summer. But you know, as my goals became different and I kind of shifted more into the idea of let me see if I can do this beyond high school, that diligence have kind of picked up at the same pace, if that makes sense. So yes, it's harder, but when you have a large end goal and the bar is high and you have friends around you who are also pushing to do the same thing,
Yeah.
it kind of creates this community of people that want to go out and get it done.
Very nice. That actually looks like the perfect conduit into my next question. When would you say
Mhm.
like it became realistic that I can do this after high school?
Oh man, that's a great question. I don't say realistic. I think realistically, it's still a little far-fetched. Um, Everything's super competitive and there's not a lot of spots. So I'm not going to say realistically, but I can tell you kind of when I had that mentality of like, if I put all my eggs into this basket, it could work out for me.
Yeah, yeah. When did you get that?
Probably the end of my sophomore year,
Oh wow.
we do this standardized erg test called a 2K. And what that essentially is, it's you go on the rowing machine that you have at, any standard gym or training facility and you row 2,000 meters as fast as you can. My sophomore year, I was okay. I was working up to, you know, the peak of my year at the end of the year, and I finished the 2K, and I was the second fastest on the team of
Oh
all
wow.
sophomores through seniors.
Oh
Um,
really?
Only behind one guy who was like 220 pounds.
Okay.
And so it was kind of in that moment where I was like, I have something. I really don't know what it is. I don't know how I got it, but if I continue to train hard and I continue doing what I'm doing and I continue to love the sport, um, I can keep doing it beyond high school.
And how would you say like your community support goes? So you've talked about your teammates, but like your parents, how would you say they have
Hmm.
impacted your rowing career so far?
Yeah, I mean, my parents have definitely pushed me in ways that I haven't wanted to push myself. Definitely in ways that are better for me than the decisions I would have made. Um, So, for examples, they're the ones who help me get up in the morning. My mom will always make me, eggs and a cup of coffee during those weekend practices. And little gestures like that, or just making sure I'm getting to practice on time or checking on me during my extra work. I think just having a support system that's really, strong and dedicated to you as an individual has been extremely helpful.
Well, that's really sweet of her. And like, was
Yeah.
this just right off the bat, or like, was it
Um,
more of when she saw that you were taking it more seriously?
Yeah, I mean, it was right off the bat, but there are definitely aspects that both of my parents have taken up when I started taking it more seriously. So crew the recruitment process is a bit weird because there's no scouts, so you have to do all the initial communication between you and the coaches. So both of my parents have really helped me, pushing me to stay, deliberate in my emails and, continuous in my contact. My dad, for example, helps me draft emails, because that's part
Oh,
of his job. So creating kind of a mini resume to put into these emails and then, sending it off in as a concise way as possible has been super helpful.
well, that's really cool. But like,
Hmm.
would you also say that it's been an increased stressor, or would you say like it's just part of the process and you expected this?
Yeah, that's fair. I think with more obligation will mostly always come with increased
Yeah.
stress. Um, it gets a little more stressful towards the end of high school just because that's when, ducks start falling into a row and people start, getting recruited. Um, But, me personally, I recognize that since I've done all right in school, I can get in somewhere academically and then walk on. So the recruiting process is kind of like a cherry on top, in my opinion. Like if it happens, that would be awesome. That would be fantastic. But, I'm really looking at schools that I want to go to personally. There won't be a moment where I'm stressed out because I'm like, the only way I can get into this school is if I row there. So
Oh.
having that kind of safety net behind it has been relaxing in moments that could be typically stressful.
How would you say the difficulty level has been balancing like rowing in school? Because I would assume rowing takes up a lot of time, as you've already talked about.
Hmm. Um, I mean, it was initially difficult, kind of as everything is extracurricular compared to school. You have reduced hours, you're doing your homework later into night. You're waking up earlier a lot of times for lift or doing your own work. So it definitely takes another level of efficiency. I think that's the word that I'd use. Really my procrastination habits have gone down. My work ethic has gone up. Kind of realizing that, if I grind my homework out for 2 hours, then I'm gonna gotta go to sleep earlier, right? So I can wake up
Yeah.
and do the thing that I love. So having that motivation that if you do your work now, you'll have time for yourself has really been helpful in learning how to balance my personal and athletic life.
So, Pierce, I think it's pretty obvious our generation has a bad attention span. Would you say that you probably have a good attention span then?
I wouldn't say I have a great attention span, if I'm being honest. I'd consider it, on par with what's expected.
Okay.
But it definitely used to be worse. I definitely say having structure in my life has helped my attention span.
Very cool. So, crew, it seems like has given you mainly positive things. Would you say like you ever feel overwhelmed or stressed out by it, or has that not happened off late as you got more structure within it as the years have
hmm
passed?
I mean, obviously, being overwhelmed is a totally human experience. I don't think it has increased with crew. Um, if anything, having the structure and stability and finding methods that help me academically has decreased structure or stress. And yeah, I don't think there have been many negative moments.
Very, very cool, Pierce. Well, coming up on our last questions, if you were to give
Mhm.
advice to your freshman yourself on rowing, what would it be?
That's a great that's a great question. Um,
Thank you.
I would say, you know, no matter what you do, don't care about what's down the road. Just finish what you have in front of you. Um, I'd say I would get stressed out and just think about the obligations or the race that I have, weeks out, when in reality, if I put in the preparation today, if I make practice as intense as possible, as focused as possible, then everything else will feel easy. If you do all of the work, there's no, you know, there's no magic bean that's going to wake up on the day of your race day and it's going to make everything all right. It's the work you do day by day. And if you truly put in the right amount of effort, um, everything will work out.
Also, it teaches you to like live in the present and don't take what you have for granted.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I did not know that about crew actually. Well, Pierce, one last question. Whether or not you do go D1, how do you want rowing to fit into your life after high school or even after college if possible?
hmm Um, for me, rowing is definitely, a key cog as me as a person. I love to compete. I love the community that's part of rowing. Um, just the feeling of waking up and feeling the boat, glide across the water with so little effort. It's really awesome. So I want rowing to be a key component, but I don't want it to be the entirety of my life.
Fair play, Pierce. Very,
I
very.
love I love relaxing. I love my sleep. I love going on hikes. I think there's just so much to life, and life is so short that you can't focus an entire chunk of your life on one thing.
I don't think I could have said it better myself, Pierce. That's an amazing way to end out. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
See ya.